Frank Ray here and Brian Stevens with the National Real Estate Post. Of course, I am local at home in Northern California, but Brian, of course, obviously is traveling in St. Louis, Missouri. This is 2 hotel room style interview shows in a row for us, Brian, just so you know. Before we get started, just remind you guys, Liberty Home Equity Solutions, we are doing a reverse mortgage webinar and going over reverse mortgage numbers. So if you're curious about how they work and how the numbers really crunch out and who those products are really good for, that's what we're going to be talking about. It's on the 27th of February. Click the banner you see right here on your screen, or over on your right, or down below, or there's a link around here on social media somewhere where you can register for that webinar, on February 27th, where you're going to learn all about the reverse mortgage numbers and how that works. So let's get cooking. Brian Stevens out there in St. Louis, Missouri. What's happening, man?
Well, I got a couple simple observations that I want to share with you today. So I'm in a beautiful hotel, about to have my speaking engagement, and when I took a shower this morning, I saw this in the shower. It says bath salts. Now, what they didn't do is they did not give me a pipe or somebody's face to eat off. So I don't know what to do with these bath salts. Like, don't give me a drug. I'm being used to consume the drug. Now, this is one, Frank. No, seriously, this is one. I'm not going to give you the backdrop in terms of how I saw this, but I found myself staring at the back end of my deodorant, and I thought this was the funniest thing in the world. I never noticed this before, but on the back of my deodorant, it says, if your grandfather hadn't worn it, you wouldn't be here.
Yeah. That's Old Spice, right? Is that Old Spice?
Yep.
They do great stuff. They do great stuff. They're awesome.
But here's the funny thing when it comes down to marketing, is I actually use this because it reminds me of my grandfather.
How funny.
Isn't that interesting how effective the marketing is?
That is so funny.
Oh, and then I've got a third one, and I find this one very disturbing. And it's the reason why I like anybody in the state of Missouri. So when I sat down yesterday with a bunch of real estate agents and lenders, the first thing that happened to me is somebody gave me 2 hats, one for me and one for you, and I'm bringing it back for you.
What?
And here's what it says.
Oh. Well, you said you did have to eat some crow for a couple of people.
Gotta eat some crow. Good people out here in Missouri. It's like, this is such a great time, such great people. And you know what? Congratulations to the Chiefs. If we had to lose to a team, darn it, we lost it to the right ones.
All righty. Hey, so I wanted to chat about this today. There's an article here. We'll put the headline up on the screen, and it's saying basically that Chase is thinking about getting back into the FHA game. And if you remember, we did a show last year. There's a Wall Street Journal ad that said FHA and the government are kind of begging the big banks to get back into the FHA business. Specifically, it's Chase and Bank of America, who bailed because of that crazy, False Claims Act, right? The False Claims Act, where lenders were getting fined like crazy. Here you are trying to do FHA loans and help the underserved, and yet getting fined like crazy for little stupid things that, were completely ridiculous. And so they just bailed out of the business. What's your thoughts on these things?
Jamie Dimon, the CEO of Chase, was very, very clear about this years ago. He said it does not make any sense whatsoever for Chase to underwrite or produce any FHA loans because they are getting sued into oblivion for the False Claims Act. And if you guys don't remember that, that was the act during the Civil War that disallowed a person to sell a lame donkey to the military, and that was being reapplied over to mortgages over 100 years later. And Jamie Dimon came out and said, I'm not going to write any FHA loans. So what's happening right now is HUD and the FHFA are making overtures to the big banks to go out there and write more business. And the reason they're doing it is because they want to change how loans are being written, and people have to understand this. Right now, HUD is sitting on a ton of money. The GSEs are sitting on virtually no money, so they're more exposed. They want to take that high-risk business and they want to put it back over to FHA. And what they want to have is they want to have the big box lenders writing those loans. So what this means for a lender on the street is it's always the same thing, Frank. We have to be smarter in terms of how we originate. I mean, that's what it really boils down to. But you just have to understand, reading the tea leaves of the market, that things are going to change going forward. And some of that business that you might be getting today on your Govy stuff, you might not be getting tomorrow. So you have to pin your ears back, sharpen your teeth, really narrow your focus, and be a better originator. And as you say all the time, Frank, is that such a bad thing?
No, it's not such a bad thing.
No, it's not.
Yeah, so I wonder how much market share let's say Chase, and I think B of A still doesn't do FHA, I think. So if these two both came back into the market with their, let's be honest, especially with B of A, there's a lot of reach to a lot of consumers there, where now all of a sudden they could be providing FHA loans where they haven't been providing them for a while. I wonder how much market share, I don't have those numbers. I'm sure you don't have it off the top of your head either, but I wonder if we really will see an impact if they get back into the business in our local communities.
You absolutely will. Their reach is enormous. All you have to do is get in your car and drive down the street and tell me how long it takes you to find a Chase Bank or a Wells Fargo Bank or a Citibank. And what they're going to have sitting in there is somebody who's taking deposits, and there's going to be a loan officer who's going to start writing FHA loans tomorrow where they simply weren't writing them today. Now, I'm saying this 1,500 miles away from you, and I guarantee you if I walk at this hotel, I will find a Wells Fargo within 300 yards. That's how huge this is. It's the same thing where you live, it's the same thing where we live out in California, and it's the same in every market. We can't underestimate the power of the big box lenders coming in and starting to write government loans again. It could have a huge impact. But, okay, so that's the conflict. What's the resolution? So for a loan officer who's watching it, so a realtor who's watching it, okay, so, the sky's falling. We just totally lined that up. Well, here's the whole point. I was having this conversation with a bunch of realtors and lenders just the last couple of days. What makes you successful? It turns out it's between 5 to 10 deals a month.
Mm-hmm.
So in the city of Vacaville, the median sales price for a house is $465,000. So assume your loan amount is $400,000 and your bucket is 1.5. So each deal is worth $6,000 to you. And if you close 5 deals a month, you make $30,000 a month or $360,000 a year. All right. Now, I know I rambled that off very quickly, but we are in a high cost market. So anybody in any market who's closing 5 deals a month is going to be at the higher tiers of whatever that community is on the socioeconomic ladder.
Okay.
So we're talking about 5 people. So Wells Fargo, are they going to come in and make a big difference? You bet your ass they are. Is Chase going to make a big difference? You bet. But here's what lenders have to understand. 5. Now, can you find 5 people in your ecosystem when you walk around on a day-to-day basis? Now, we live in this little town in Vacaville, and I actually walk the 6 square blocks of downtown Vacaville where me and you spend 95% of our time. You know what I found, Frank?
What?
27 businesses. 27 that each have their own sphere of influence. And if I could, amongst a 6 square block area, find 5 people who want to buy a house and convince them that I'm the best bet, and by the way, as a regional banking operation, I'm going to be the best bet, I'm rich.
Pretty brilliant, man.
It's really simple. We overthink these things. Let's not get concerned and get caught up in the rough with the big box banks coming back in. Let's focus on our business, what we can do, not what other people are doing.
Love it. Love it. All right, man. Well, you got to get to your speaking gig, so I'll let you go. Go razzle dazzle them, Brian. I'm sure they're going to be absolutely thrilled at your message. What are you looking for? This isn't going to be. Oh, there you go. All right. Good stuff, man. Have a great gig. We'll see you when you get home. And
bye, brother.
You guys do us a favor. Leave us your comments down below on this. Click the Facebook button, share it, maybe start a conversation. You might get a deal out of it. And if you're meeting us for the first time, subscribe for free in your upper right-hand corner. We'll catch you guys later here at the Natural Real Estate Post.
And I don't say this enough. I appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you too, brother. All right, we'll see you guys.